Hello everyone, Golden Nova, but to my surprise, some new card reveals just dropped for Phantom Nightmare, the next core set coming out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Moby? That was a good intro. Yeah, I love you too. Anyway, this is very strange. Yubel cards are here. I made a point in the Hero Explained video, which is like, God, 2 years old now, holy cow, that there was never going to be any additional Yubel cards. We covered the three main ones, we covered their combinations with Elemental Hero Neos. This is kind of wild. I think some people were speculating this might happen because Phantom Darkness, I believe, was the set where the Yubel cards and the Dark variation cards came out in, and so the set Phantom Darkness having Yubel, it looks like, as the cover card, is pretty cool. Now, I haven't seen any of the effects, but some of the art has come across my vision, and I did see that some of them look like a fusion between Yubel and Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, and if they were ever going to show off a combination of Yubel and Jaden that isn't just how, without going into some body horror-esque situation with putting an actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Character in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, shocker, that's about as close as it gets. So that's my preamble. Let's take a look at Finny and the new Yubel cards. First is Spirit of Yubel to go along with Spirit of Neos. Very cute. Level 10, Dark Fiend effect monster, 0 attack and defense. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand, so already much easier to summon. Wait a sec. Hold on. That's the little castle that they all grew up in. How dare they? How dare they pull that off? If this card is special summoned, you can take one spell or trap card from your deck that mentions Yubel and either add it to your hand or set it. Cannot be special summoned by, or cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. And if this card is destroyed, you can special summon one of your Yubel that is banished or in your hand, deck, or graveyard. So this summons base Yubel, not a Yubel monster. So this kind of gets the process going on that. But it can't be destroyed by battle, so you can just summon it and it's a body. I don't think there are previously any Yubel spell or trap cards or things that mention Yubel. I'll be pleasantly surprised if those exist, but I'm pretty sure we'll be adding those in this set. So this works like Spirit of Neos, where it searches you a card and can't be destroyed by battle, and it's a good starter for things. So that's pretty neat. And also it's a level 10 monster, so there's like potential synergies with Sacred Beasts there, which is fairly appropriate. Okay, Geist Grinder Golem. Oh boy. Grinder Golems come back for a second run. Level 8 Dark Fiend, 3000 attack, 300 defense. Or is it Gouger Grinder Golem? There might be some changes in translation going on. Yeah, take all these names with a grain of salt, by the way. Number 1, you can reveal a Yubel monster in your hand to special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field. Then you can special summon the revealed monster to your field. Okay. Once per turn, during damage calculation, if this card battles a Yubel monster, your opponent gains 3000 life points. And if you special summon Yubel while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field. Okay, that's intriguing. It's nice to have a way to, like, give our opponent a monster to crash into with our later versions of Yubel. The earlier version doesn't have anything. It doesn't, like, do reflection if it's the one attacking. But it does mean that you can start gaining a bunch of life points if you just have regular Yubel and they just have Geist/Gouger Grinder Golem. And it deploys base Yubel as well, making it a lot easier to summon. Samsara Regenerating Lotus. Now, I don't remember I always thought Grinder Golem was a DM card. I didn't know that was part of Yubel's arsenal. But I do know that Yubel used Samsara Lotus, so we have a retrain of another ridiculously busted card. Level 1 Dark Fiend, 0 attack and defense. You can only use the first, second, and third card of this card's name once per turn. That's been all these so far. There haven't been any exclusionary restrictions. Yeah, okay. This card, you can contribute this card to special summon a Yubel monster from your deck. Now, I'm pretty sure that because it doesn't say ignoring summoning conditions, this doesn't let you skip phases. I think you still need to summon base Yubel with this. Maybe there's some other... Oh, and then it also can summon Spirit of Yubel because that doesn't have a restriction on there. But we can't skip with this, but that's still pretty good. During your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated while you control a Yubel monster as a quick effect, you contribute this card. That effect becomes destroy a Yubel monster on the field. Very good, because it helps destroy Yubel via your opponent's card, I guess you can destroy it with your own cards, but forcing your opponent to do it with their card effect is a lot cleaner and helps with your game plan. And during your end phase, if you control Yubel and this card is in your graveyard, you can take this card and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Now, this does have a once per turn restriction on there, so it can't infinitely reborn itself during the phase. But it does allow you to have Yubel on board and then summon this back, giving it the tribute fodder that it needs to survive if you need to do that, or keeping it on board so you can use that quick effect to change the effect to get Yubel destroyed. So this is a really great pair with it. Incredible. Okay, oh boy, German. Get ready for Nova mispronounces languages he doesn't understand. Yubel das ewig Liebwachter. Damn, okay, cool. Roast me in the comments, folks. I need it. I need it right now. All those Germans. Let me know how it's going. Level 12 Dark Fiend effect monster, 0 attack and defense. Materials are Yubel and 1 or more effect monsters on the field. It doesn't seem like you can't use fusion substitution, so anything like Muddy Mud Dragon plus 1+ effect monsters on board gets this online. Very funny. If this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each fusion material used for this card. Excellent. So that is a way to burn your opponent out of the extra deck with just randomly being able to fuse into something with Muddy Mud Dragon. Base 1000 damage too, just in case. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. If this card battles an opponent's monster, at the end of the damage step, inflict damage to them equal to that monster's attack, and if you do, banish them. That's outrageous. That's probably better than any of the advanced Yubel forms entirely. Form 2 blasts the entire field every turn, and Form 3, this is closest to Form 3, where if it hits something, it burns and then destroys it. This hits them and banishes it. So that's pretty good. Alright, Nightmare Pain, normal spell, or continuous spell card, my apologies. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 dark monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, you add a Yubel, or a card that mentions it, from your deck to your hand, except Nightmare Pain. While you control any Yubel monsters, your opponent's monsters must attack them if able. Very good for all of their forms. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving your Yubel monsters instead. That's interesting, because I'm pretty sure all of them come with a clause that prevents that, but maybe that's there to help counteract any effect negation that would keep that from happening. Okay, so it enables Yubel because it destroys, and it's an and if you do, so it doesn't cause Yubel to miss timing, which I believe it does. So that enables that. And it's a searcher, so pretty good. And then it forces attacking. A very, very strong card for that thing. Mature Chronicle, which is a playoff of Spell Chronicle, which is also a card that I believe Yubel played. Continuous spell card. Each time a Yubel monster and or monsters that mention Yubel is special summoned, place a Chronicle counter on this card. You can remove up to 5 Chronicle counters from this card you control to activate one of these effects. Remove 1 to special summon a Yubel from your grave. 2 to add 1 of your banished cards to your hand, that's powerful. 3 to banish a card from your deck. 4, destroy a card on the field. And 5, add super polymerization from your deck to your hand. Thank goodness you're only gaining counters when you summon Yubel monsters, because that would get used very much. Oh, that's why it's 1+ effect. Oh no, now it is dawning on me that anything that counts as any monster you can just have that and then play super poly and then just scoop up your opponent's entire and then burn them for it. Oh no! Oh, that's heinous. Oh, that is heinous. Anyway, this card is nice. It's good. Might take a bit too much to gear it up because it only summons off of Yubel and Yubel adjacent monsters, but you know, I'm sure they'll find a way. It's an okay card. Eternal Favorite. Oh, now that's a name for a card. As opposed to the Favorite Hero line. That is so part of Jaden's arsenal. Continuous Trap card. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. Pardon? Once per turn, you can have these effects, but you can only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. Well, yeah, it would have to be, because they're both under a single clause, so it's once per turn. Only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. Oh, it's not a hard once per turn, so if you have multiple Eternal favorites, you could have one be this one and one be the other one. Okay, I get it now. Okay, so special summon one of your Yubel monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Neither player can activate cards or effects when it is special summoned. Okay. If you control Yubel specifically, discard a card and send this face-up card from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including a Yubel monster. So it also is kind of super polymerization. That's very funny. Very interesting. Okay, so these are, if you wanted to modernize Yubel, kind of what you would do. You gave them you give them ways to summon them out of your hand with Geist Grinder Golem without having to go into playing weird stuff like Mystic Tomato or stuff like that. You get things like Samsara Regenerating Lotus to cover for the having to sacrifice a monster every turn trigger. This just covers that for you while enabling it. The fusion monster is pretty bonkers. It needs non-destruction removal to get rid of, and does an absolutely silly amount of burn damage and does removal. The Eternal Love Watcher. What a amazing name. What a name that definitely is not spooky. So where does this stand meta-wise, though? I am scared about things that Eternal Love Watcher Yubel is going to enable. Because, yeah, like I keep harping on, and I think it's, relevant. If you have a deck that makes Muddy Mud Dragon, and you also play Super Polymerization, it doesn't even have to be Super Polymerization. No. Okay. In Master Duel, it'll be rough because Vert is still available. In regular Yu-Gi-Oh! You'll have to hard to draw the Super Polymerization, but that's still at like 3 or something. So that's just spooky all on its own. Does this make Yubel more playable? I'm not entirely sure. Except for just going into this card, because the other Yubels have been, I think, sufficiently power crept. So I think the only reason you wouldn't even play Forms 2 and 3, you just get base Yubel on board, just so you can suck up your opponent's monsters and make Elemental Hero Flame Yubel. And all these other cards are just kind of ancillary to it. Like, you would play Nightmare Pain mostly for the search effect and the enabler. Maybe you play, like, you only actually need one copy of the second and third forms, because they can, like, cycle through, or you can summon them from the graveyard. So really, you could play it if you wanted to, just to have the option. Maybe you also play Eternal Favorite just to scoop up your opponent's monsters as well, like, because you could do this as Interrupt as well, like Super Poly could. I'm not sure if Mature Chronicle is super... If this summoned Yubel directly from the deck, we might have something different going on here, because then you could play Mature Chronicle, normal summon Samsara Regenerating Lotus. Oh, but I guess that just summons Yubel from the deck anyway, so... Yeah, I don't know. These are very exciting cards. These are definitely brew-worthy. Does it match up with modern stuff? I don't have high hopes for it, but I've been wrong in the past. I'm sure all of you can tell me in the comments, though. I'm sure all of you have been brewing up in your sick little minds the kinds of things you can do with Yubel. Please let me know down below. I'm curious to see what they do. And I would normally end it right here, but also they revealed the other Memento card, so I'm just going to take a little bit of your time, just a second, to talk about Memento Darkblade. Weird pick for the normal monster. The other ones were rather obscure, but Darkblade shows up on a ton of cards, and like I joked on Twitter, it was on Fusion Deployment, and every branded player plays that card. This basically completes the cycle, though. I was looking through this while I was waiting for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization update, and I believe the line was, you normal summon this, pop it to summon Kimace. Kimace searches you Tatsu Otoshigi, the horse one, or no, you pop it to search it, and now your field is clear. Special summon Horsefish, pop it, and that can send the Witch and the Goblin Calligrapher and any other level. You can send another Keymace to graveyard, because that's 5. And that's 5, I believe. So it's Blade, Horse, Keymace, Calligrapher, Witch. Yeah, so that's your 5 different names for the big dude. So that's how you... this card completes the cycle of getting that. So that's what I was looking for. It also has a... way to remove back row when it's normal or special summoned, you can discard a Memento to target a spell or trap card. I believe some of them had good grave effects, so being able to fast track that is alright. But I think you're playing it more for its other effect than that. So this is a really good addition. Really fixes what I was worried about with the deck, namely the fact that it was hard to get all of them into the grave to summon it. But it's a level 4 warrior, easily searchable. It's a dark monster. Pretty sure it's going to be great. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, let me know all of your combos for Yubel and maybe a Memento if you thought of anything down in the comments. And as always, I will see you next time. Interesting card news comes out, but until then, take care and bye-bye. Today's episode was brought to you in part by Dragon Shield. When you want to protect your cards with the power of dragon scales, get some sweet lore for them, and support the channel, check out my link in the description to get started. Today's episode was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including the illustrious Quasar Commander Green Knight, Nebula Navigator's 3rd Dynasty, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Andrew Newman, A Random Pup, Avi Chali, Kane Senpai, Chibi Gohan, Clockswork, Danny Bound, Eric, Aaron the World Breaker, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Genesis Yu-Gi-Oh!, Gloomba 331, Great Big Pillock, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Howling Zangetsu, Iskander 711, John, Julius Sneezer, Mana Charge, Marluxia Zagirl, Molly Renata, Nathan Vig, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sammy Haim, Sir Knight JCB, Skybuster Leo, Sophie, apparently, The Wizard Moose and Xander Wolfensberger, Cosmic Crusaders Almento 5010, Ariel Kersey, Beluga Masta, Blue Gem, Callum McCann, Chaz Ghost, Corbinisms, Drachenwald, Drake and SpongeBob be like, you used to call me on your shell phone, Eki Bullock, Emily, Eva Padilla, Hike Boyagian, Herbal D, Inblink, Jester Designs, Kale the Dragon, Carp, Kevon Public, King Scarlet Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lemon Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lord Whoop-De-Doo, Manga Pages, Marion James E. Picata, Matt Simmons, Mega Combi, Michael Shimabukuro, Nadia McCarthy, Nitromo, Ruxith Sarani, Shizuka Nijimura, Star-Lord 777, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, Tucker Ordorn, Venusian Teapot, and Zaldreka, as well as the wonderful Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to be a part of these credits, help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, and participate in the monthly custom card reviews, I would be eternally grateful if you checked out my Patreon in the description or joined up as a YouTube member.